got a chance to see the sequel to A Simple Favor. Another Simple Favor. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to jump into another Simple Favor. But before we do, remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. If you can, subscribe, ring that bell, ding, ding. That would be awesome. On top of that, if you could share this video out there, that would be awesome as well. Remember, too, that I am a writer, so if you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below, and you can check out all of my books and comics and things to that effect, including my 4-novel series, Destiny Aurora. It was also made into a board game and a RPG, as well as a graphic novel. It's also on Audible as well, if you want to check that out as well. I think the Audible came out really well. Also, my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. I also have my Holocaust biography up there, Escape from Berlin. I have a horror one that's like Sixth Sense called The Awakening. I'm working on a new book right now, and I'm working on a new comic that the artwork is looking phenomenal called Fairy Tales of Terror. It's going to be awesome. All right, so let's jump into A Simple Favor. The sequel, Another Simple Favor. I really like the original one. It's directed by Paul Feig. I almost said Kevin Feige, but it's Paul Feig, who also directed the first one. In fact, most of the team came back for this one. However, he's a hit and miss for sure. He's also the one that directed the female Ghostbusters. So, take it or leave it kind of thing. But I really like the first one. I've watched it several times now. I think that Anna Kendrick, and I know that everybody is down right now on Blake Lively, and rightfully so, really. But this is a part that's actually just made for her. It's a bitchy role, and she's with high fashion. And it pretty much embodies her, so she's not playing too much of a role. However, in the first one, she was playing a twin sister, where she had to play it completely differently. And, it's very difficult to come off and play a completely different character that looks exactly like you. There's no makeup or anything else or prosthetics that go on. It's simply just a hair change, and you have to play a different person. And, of course, costume, clothing. Here she does the same thing. She has to play a sister, and she has to come off completely different than in the other two. So she has range for certain because, like I said, that's very hard to do. And I did bring up Sinners in the past, where I don't think that he played the two brothers in any way differently. Where here, it's completely different. I mean, completely. So she definitely can act regardless of what you think of her personally. Anna Kendrick just kind of plays her snarky self. But here's the thing. So the first one was written, it was an adaptation of a novel. And you can tell because the plot was very, very worked out. It was very, very, very specific and in its red herring and figuring out clues and things to that effect. So to rewrite that, to get that over again, you'd have to have a very good writer to be able to match that and not seem like it was done before. The original was a flash in the pan. It didn't need a sequel. It didn't ask for a sequel, and it shouldn't have had a sequel. So it feels forced. So the book was written by Darcy Bell, and Jessica Charzar comes back. It almost sounds like Charizard. Charzar comes back to do the writing, and she was I think she did American Horror Story and things like that as well. But she did write the first one. Yeah, she is the producer on American Horror Story. She wrote 11 episodes of Star, and she was also I think that basically is a showrunner for Star, and 9 Perfect Strangers. So she produces a lot more than what she writes, because she writes some of the episodes of the things that she's producing, and then she also did Nerve with Emma Roberts. But then you get Leda, I can't even say her last name, Kalogridis. I don't know if I said that right or not. And Leda, she is very, very prolific. She did all the episodes. She created Altered Carbon and wrote everything. She wrote Alita Battle Angel, Terminator Genesis. Okay, we'll give her that. Shutter Island. She was the showrunner on the original Birds of Prey in 2002. Incredible. And then she also wrote 2 episodes of The Bionic Woman that was very, very short-lived. She also wrote Alexander in 2004. So she's got some really good stuff under her belt, regardless of what you think of Terminator Genesis. But I don't think they put enough thought into this. This felt grinded out. It felt like, let's throw some shit in there and grind it out. It didn't feel organic at all. I mean, not at all. So I'm not going to really go into any heavy spoilers here or anything to that effect. But the basic plot is that Anna Kendrick has had a book. She wrote a book based on what happened with the original movie, and it's not selling that great. So her publisher or PR person is constantly hounding her and things like that. And then the last one ended with her and Henry Golding together, and which is Emily's ex, which is Blake Lively's character. And that's gone already. We don't get to see any of that. The kids are mostly grown up now. That was interesting because it's been, 5 years since that movie's been out or something to that effect. So, of course, the kids grew up, and they use the same kids, which I really, really like. So you have Miles, which is her son, and he is ashamed of what she does, and the kids pick on her for what he is. So we have this, because basically Stephanie, which is Anna Kendrick's character, and her last name is Smothers. I didn't even know that, where it's Mothers, but with an S. Okay. But anyway, so she was a sleuth, right? But she's also does this blog or whatever, this cooking blog, where she talks to mothers. But to move this into a Nancy Drew type of situation, you really, really have to give her something to play with. I mean, you have to give her clues. And there's nothing like that here. There's no detective work in the least except for her following a couple of people. It's not like, she found a clue or she went into somebody's room and she found something very specific or something very small that she realized. There's no Sherlock Holmes stuff here. Just nothing. There's no outer thought, like they did in the Sherlock Holmes television show, which I always thought was really cool, where they would show his thoughts and how his thinking was. There's none of that here. The sleuthing stuff is just eliminated basically completely. So you have basically this thing where Emily was released from prison, okay, for whatever reason, after 5 years. And she shows up at the reading of Stephanie's novel and asks her to be her maid of honor because she's now getting married in Capri, Italy, to a mob boss. see, right there, you're already lost. You're like, what? She just got out of prison, and now she's getting married to someone. There is a reason behind that, but all the way, you don't know the reason till the end. So all through the thing, you're going, this doesn't make any bit of sense. Not a bit of sense. Allison Janney is in here as well, and she's great. It looks like she had a lot of work done because her face looks very different than normal. And I forgot her name. I mean, something Perkins. I haven't seen her in forever. Elizabeth Perkins. Yeah, she's great too. She has a very, very small role here. But I can't really recommend this because, I mean, meaning Blake Lively, she was born to play that role. Like I said, it's just basically her. Her costumes are great. The location is great. The original movie was $20 million. It made over $100 million. And this one's direct to streaming on Prime. And I bet you that the thing was like $50 million. So they probably more than doubled the budget, is from what I can, in my opinion. Because I don't know for sure. It's not published anywhere. But it takes place in Capri, which I'm sure was not cheap. You got to get all your equipment there. I'm sure there's no infrastructure there for filming. And then on top of that, you have the wedding thing where the greenery that they used to build all this was amazing. I mean, just amazing. So the permits you probably had to have over there and whatever else, I bet this was at least double, $40 to $50 million budget. It's number one right now on Prime, so I guess they feel like they're making their money because there was a marketing push behind this as well, because I even saw some of the marketing. So it may be getting them additional sign-ups, which is how they gauge it. But yeah, there's no sleuthing here at all. Anna Kendrick's character, Stephanie, is basically thrown into all these things. She's just kind of whisked along instead of her being the protagonist here and being the person that's driving the plot forward, which is what was in the first movie. Here, she is just whisked along with the plot. The plot is pulling her along instead of the other way around, and it's so apparent that it is detrimental to the film. You know, you're like, why did you even go? We really did. I mean, she threatens to sue her, but I'm not buying it. I didn't buy that was the reason. And she kind of knew that it was going to be a setup up front, and she still went. So, and then another character dies in here. I'm not going to say who. And it's just kind of blown off. They don't postpone the wedding. They don't have a funeral. They know nothing. It's just like the person never existed. So it has a lot of problems. And if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, people are not liking it. It's actually splat. It's a splat. So that's the audience score. The reviewer score is slightly above where it's actually fresh, but all the audience score is non-fresh. So nobody's liking this. And it actually sets itself up for another sequel. And the only way they can make another sequel work is if they just take Anna Kendrick out of it completely. And it's because she was wasted in here. She was completely wasted. There was no reason for her to be in this rather than being a punching bag. And, you know, in fact, she says later on, Blake Lively's character says later on, you know, that I needed your help. That's why I invited you, because I wanted you to sleuth things out or whatever. And again, there's nothing to that. There's nothing to that statement. It's completely untrue for what happens during the film. And so outside of it being pretty and seeing the Blake Lively's chops and seeing Anna Kendrick's snarkiness, There's no reason to see this film because it has absolutely no resemblance otherwise to the original. And if they do make a sequel where Emily is now the main character, which is kind of how it's set up, if they do the sequel they could set up now, that would be interesting. And because basically she'd be working for the mob, and that would be cool. If they didn't go into the sleuthing thing, they actually made her a semi-mob boss, that would be kind of cool. But again, Anna Kendrick would need to be removed pretty much completely because the movie would then, it would hamper her. It would hamper Emily's character, and the character of Emily. So I don't know. I still think that the first one was basically a flash in the pan. These characters were not supposed to move forward, except in our own imaginations. And I think this was a failure on all fronts. So let me know what you guys think. Did you guys see it? Did you see the first one? I definitely recommend the first one. I think the first one's great. I think this one's a piece of shit. It's pretty. That's it. It's just this pretty. All right, well, on a scale from 1 to 10, ugh. I will definitely not be watching this one again. I've watched the first one 3 or 4 times. I think I own it on DVD. But I would say that it's more of a 4, maybe a 5, make it average. But I think it's below average, unfortunately. All right, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can subscribe, please do. And if you'd like to check out my stuff on Amazon, just go to Amazon.com and type my name in or the link in the description below. All right, thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next one. All right, bye-bye.